Now, from my understanding, Linares called out Lomachenko first, but there's a real possibility that the fight can happen. The only and biggest issue is Linares is Golden Board Promotions, co-promoted by Zanford Promotions, if I'm correct, and Lomachenko is Top Rank. Bob Barum and Oscar De La Hoya have been beefing again for now, what, about 2 years ago. But here's some highlights from Linares' last fight. TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I feel that Linares has issues with pressure fighters. I think that's a good assessment. Yes, he was stopped in the first round. Yes, he was stopped by having a bad cut, and yes, he was stopped by his face beaten to a bloody pulp by Antonio DeMarco. Does he have quit in him though? Can he fight a guy by the name of Lomachenko, who is pretty much, embarrassing his opponents? Opponents that people say is going to give him tough work, like Rigondeaux. Yeah, that was the weight issue, but that wasn't an issue where, the power or the weight meant anything. Lomachenko is better. Pound for pound, in any weight class, Lomachenko is better than Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? He's good. When it came to Nicholas Walters, people thought that Nicholas Walters was going to bully him. He schooled Nicholas Walters, made him quit. We ain't seen Nicholas Walters since. He was supposed to fight on one of these top rank on ESPN undercards, and I was watching the card. I forgot which one it was, and he, something happened during fight week. Maybe he was eating more oxtails, couldn't make weight, whatever the case may be. Both of these fighters have been going at each other on social media. From my understanding, I feel that Linares called out Lomachenko first. This is from my colleague over in LA, Rob Suarez of Fight View 360. He got a chance to talk to Jorge Linares. This was the Thursday before he fought Mercito Gesta, so the final press conference. I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of irritated when I was editing this, and it seems like Linares was about to start going in talking about the Lomachenko situation, and then this other reporter, whoever he is, no disrespect, started, talking about other stuff. It's certain stuff you gotta make sure you listen, and wait a minute, he's talking about Lomachenko. And then let me just play it and you'll see what I mean. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.
Not overlooking Gesta, but what's a bigger fight for you, Mikey or Loma?
Well, first maybe Lomachenko in 135, and then in 140, why not Mikey Garcia?
It looks like that's going to be maybe a little difficult, being that he might make a jump to 147 to fight Errol Spence Jr. If you caught wind of his desires to fight is Lipinets, you, and then Spence Jr. But what did you make of his statements when he said that?
I don't know right now because I'm that way, and I don't think I moved to 147.
No, Mikey.
Mikey Garcia,
yeah,
with Spencer. It's good fight. It's good fight. It's no easy fight for Mikey Garcia and Spencer too, but you never know. You never know. I saw in Instagram right now Figueroa have fight with Bronner. What is that? But you never know. Boxing is boxing. So imagine maybe next year or this year I have fight with Bronner or Mikey Garcia or Spencer in a future, in 147. You never know, but boxing is boxing.
Jorge, now that you've made the transition to your new coaching, you said Freddie had so much time designated to Manny Pacquiao in the past. Is it awkward when you pass him in the hallway, when you see each other? What's that relationship like now? Is it, tumultuous? Is it pleasant? What's it like?
No, realmente no tengo problemas con él. Al contrario, le doy gracias porque aprendí mucho de él. Pero ya ahora la cosa cambió, la cosa es diferente. Ahora ya tengo mi propio entrenador que está al 100 conmigo. Lo sigo respetando.
We don't need to watch that anymore. But let's go to hold on, I want to go get me some tea, some iced tea. What was I looking for? Oh yeah. So this is what Jorge Linares. Let me get a cough drop. Hold on. Getting the cough drop. My bad. I do these videos live and uncut. People be saying you should edit your videos, man. It would be more professional. Man, fuck out of here. So this is what he posted on his this was last night. The King Jorge is waiting for you at 135, Lomachenko Vasyl. Your dad named you right because you Vasyl for wanting this fight. And then, you know, Golden Boy Promotions, top rank, ESPN, you know, and I don't know if he's still co-promoted by this company called Zanford. And remember, in his last fight, his last two fights, Luke Campbell and this fight, he fought on HBO. One of the Crolla fights, he fought on Showtime. He said that he wouldn't mind fighting on HBO or Showtime, and I think he understands, you know, that. See, I'm confused. We got to figure out what's in the way of this fight, you know, and if he signed with HBO or not. Now, we haven't heard anything from Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, or Eric Gomez in regards to this fight. Now, as I said, Golden Boy Promotions and Bob Arum, they haven't been putting on any fights together. They've had some issues probably since before Miguel Cotto signed with Rock Nation after leaving, you know, after thinking he was going to make, after Top Rank thinking he was going to make Cotto versus Canelo under Golden Boy and Top Rank. It's a weird, you know, complex situation. But from my understanding, I don't really see why this fight can happen unless Jorge Linares is signed to HBO. And then as of course, Lomachenko, who fought on HBO, you know, in the past, Bob Arum has had some beef with HBO and just don't like the new guy running HBO boxing, Peter Nelson. And Lomachenko is ESPN, and I'm sure ESPN don't want to let him go. By the way, I will show you some Lomachenko highlights, but Lomachenko people from over in the Ukraine keep copyrighting me and shit, man. You know, that's just crazy. It's this how can I put it? It's a legal divide to whereas over here, you know, I can use this content legally, but over there they don't seem to know that. So I'll be having to email them and then having to wait for them to get back to me, and then just, you know, it's a pain in the ass. But I'm not gonna let them bully me. Anyway, we're just trying to do our job. So Lomachenko fought at 135 in the amateurs. You know, that's where he won the gold medal, if I'm correct, right? Jorge Linares has said he would fight as high as 147 in the future, but he doesn't see, you know, that if you didn't get that from that interview that we just watched. So looking at this fight and looking at the 100, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Go look at the 147-pound, 135-pound division, and show you guys basically the landscape, and to let you know that it is the biggest fight since Mikey Garcia is fighting Sergey Limpinets, and there's no guarantee that Mikey Garcia will fight Jorge Linares in the summer or next. Then they're both trying to, you know, go after bigger fights. Now, do you think that Loma versus Linares is a bigger fight than Garcia versus Linares? I think so. Now, here you have the Robert Easter Jr. fight right out there, but he's an Al Heyman fighter, and there's a bigger political divide with him fighting Jorge Linares, and Jorge Linares coming to Showtime with Golden Boy, you know, and having to work with them because he is, you know, #1 promoted by Golden Boy. We don't know how that Zanford thing works out yet, but I would see, you know, I just don't see him, Linares versus Robert Easter happening. I would see a Mikey Garcia because Mikey Garcia is more of a free agent, you know, and I've learned a lot about that. And also, it's been heavily rumored that Mikey Garcia is supposed to be making $3+ million to fight Sergey Limpinets. Not his purse per se, but kind of like an incentive, you know, like extra money. So, for example, you saw that on paper, Errol Spence, as far as purse, made like 1.2 versus 600,000. According to ESPN, Dan Rayfield, to fight, you know, but he was supposedly given some other type of money as well, extra money, not only for the layoff, but to keep him from taking the Cotto fight that was offered, you know. So stuff like that happens in boxing. That's why, you know, you have a lot of casual fans, which is not their fault, They believe when they read stuff on Forbes that say, "Oh yeah, Al Heyman is only worth 15 million because Forbes said so." Or they believe when those official persons come out when they say, "Oh yeah, this person's only making 1 million and this person 500,000," and don't understand that there's other money that these fighters get to as well. Usually known as back end, especially if it's a pay-per-view. You see what I'm saying? So, Lomachenko, there's no big fights for him, in my opinion, at the 130-pound. Let me zoom in for you. At the 130-pound, weight class, no bigger fights than him versus Linares, especially since he was talking about before he fought Rigondeaux that he was going to be moving to 135 pounds. I mean, who you want to see him fight? Remember, this guy's the new. No, actually, he's been stripped. I got to change this. I got to update these rankings. Gervonta Davis won't fight him. Believe it or not, Lomachenko and Tevin Farmer are friends, but is that a fight that would really, really sell? Who do you want to see him against? Miguel Burchek is tied up right now. Alberto Machado, we don't know when we're going to see him again. I forgot. He's dealing with some type of injury or something. So the next would be 135. And people say they want him to fight a bigger fighter. Linares is not necessarily bigger in regards to walking around, but he is a 135-pound fighter, and he's a unified champion. And I'm sure the WBA and the WBC would sanction, Lomachenko to capture 2 belts. Or, I'm sorry, I didn't jinx him. I didn't basically said Lomachenko was going to win, 2 belts in 1 weight class. Now, you may wonder what's going on with the WBO. At first, I thought that Lomachenko was going to move up and possibly fight for that WBO vacant title that Terry Flanagan vacated. Terry Flanagan is fighting Maurice Hooker on the undercard of Saunders versus Martin Murray for the 140-pound Terrence Crawford vacated title. So this guy right here, Ray Beltran and Polish Moses, is going to be fighting on their own card. I forgot the exact date. I think it's like, is it this month? February the 16th, I think. Next month. Right now it's January the, what's today's date, man? Let me check. January the 31st, 7:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. So, when Lomachenko moves to 135, right, he would have to, obviously wait for the winner of this, but I'm sure, Ray Beltran or whoever wins may not want to go right after a Lomachenko, and then the Lomachenko versus Robert Easter, that won't happen. It wouldn't happen, and then you have Jorge Linares up there, so they might as well go for that right now. Go for the gusto, Go for the gusto. 44-3 with 27 KOs. He's known to have some issues with some pressure fighters, like Anthony Crolla, and gave him some issues. Kevin Mitchell knocked him down. Remember the Antonio DeMarco fight where he got his face beat in, and this fight, second round stoppage due to that cut. We watched some highlights of this during my build up for him versus Mercito Gesta. And then, he's had some hand injuries in between there. And this shock first round knockout right here was his first loss over in Japan. Him just capturing belts. 126, 130. And, a lot of people still giving him shit for the Rigondeaux fight, but it's a fight that fans wanted. And they're saying Rigondeaux hand was, man, listen, we ain't seen Rigondeaux since. Listen, seriously, where's Rigondeaux? Let me tell you, listen, whoever was running his Twitter bounced. This was his last tweet the night of the fight, before the fight. We ain't seen him since. Is he okay? Hashtag where's Rigo? Come home. We ain't seen him since. But anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. We're going to see how this plays out. So, if the fight gets announced, I doubt that it would happen within the next few weeks. We would hear first Oscar De La Hoya talking about, hey, we have no issues working with Top Rank. We would hear Eric Gomez saying, yeah, but we're waiting to hear for one of these sides to say it has to happen on this network. And I think that's going to be the dividing factor, that if a network, if the network issue is going to get in the way, but it shouldn't. Why? Because Golden Boy fights on Golden Boy has an ESPN deal too. So, I guess the point I'm trying to make is this. I feel confident that Lomachenko's team, you know, Igis Klimas and Bob Arum, you know, the manager of Lomachenko, Klimas, and Bob Arum, they want to make this fight. I feel that it's up to Golden Boy. Simple as that. You know, and they can't say that the WBC or the WBA won't sanction this fight. They will damn sure sanction Lomachenko to fight for those belts. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Please subscribe.